Hello, everyone. This is Jacob Kreifels, and I will be talking about the incremental model of SDLC. For you that don't know, SDLC stands for the software development lifecycle, in which things are done in a company to make sure that the best outcome is for a product through things such as finding out what exactly you need, designing what it should look like, implementing it into the system, testing it, and then evaluating what you need next. In incremental, um, first, first, there is many different types of SDLCs. The one I'm talking about today is incremental, but there is far more than that. Incremental, though, however, is done through many iterations of a project through smaller portions. Instead of doing everything together, they instead do small tasks individually and then produce those out to the public so that people can have things such as early releases and such as that. With the incremental model, a lot of times it is easier to manage and keep track of what you're doing, especially if you have a idea of what you want to do first. If you have a clear a knowledge of what you want of your product, if you know what your clients need, then incremental is one of the best solutions for that. In fact, it's one of the building blocks, from my knowledge, to many of the other SDLCs. So one of the core things about incremental is what I explained before, is that we go into many of the same things over and over again. Instead of doing it all in one process, we actually do them in really small portions. We do the entire SDLC into these little small increments until we're completely finished with the product. We go through analyzing the what we need, requirements, and what the client is asking for, and then we go into designing exactly what that feature will look like, and then we code what that feature is, and then we test it, and then we produce it to the client. Then we go into and do it again, over and over and over until it's complete. This can be really good if you had a really simple product and you had like I said before, you had the knowledge of what you needed, and you can just crank out exactly that. And you knew that there was some things that weren't exactly needed, and you did not need to waste time on planning those. So over here we have some advantages and disadvantages to using incremental, and these are some of the things that you want to be looking at in case you really did or did not want to start a program or software. Something like the software will be generated quickly during a software's life cycle. That's, as I've said before, the software will be produced pretty quickly, and it will be out in the public for use as soon as some of the first increments. However, it does require some good planning. As I've said before, if it's simple, then it's fine. But because it does require many little mini plans, you probably better off using something that is more of a bigger approach to it, like agile or waterfall. However, if you do got a good idea of what your plan is, and you do have an idea of how it could be accomplished on a certain time frame, then incremental is the SDL is the development cycle that you want to use. And weirdly enough, it is also very flexible and less expensive because iterations can be rearranged. You could do one thing you can switch around what you're going to be doing next instead of doing maybe doing one thing here. You're actually doing something you were going to do in the second increment because of client one, or you just need that done. So you're allowed to be more flexible when it comes to what you're creating. So that it really becomes a better thing for the client when they're using your product. I think that one of the biggest problems here is that you're especially not testing it with each other. You're in a way you're producing things by themselves, so things don't really get to have them by themselves, and then you'd have to go. What I'm trying to say is that you're adding things and adding things, but what happens when one thing destroys another, and you have to go all the way back and find out why that is? So it is kind of bad in that light. So and there's a lot of other reasons why you can and wouldn't use this. It in my idea of it would be a very good for like a simple project that you're doing for a small company or business. It's especially good because customers can easily respond to what they want, what they like, what they require, and that can be easily implemented through increments. So in reality, incremental is a very situational type of model and is not one to be used for everything, but it is very good to use for the right reasons. So if you ever had a project such as that, then incremental would be your model to use. All right, so this has been Jacob Kreifels, and I'm out.